Could self-sabotage be behind your super organized pantry? If you're wondering, what is she talking about? Stay tuned because I will clarify. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christine Garrison. I am a health coach and I help midlife women stop self-sabotage and take small steps in their health so that they can feel younger as they get older. And that's what I'm going to be continuing talking about today is how to end self-sabotage. I started talking about this a little bit on Friday with talking about cravings. So if you missed that one, go back to Friday and read and listen to cravings and how that deals with self-sabotage. But why I'm even doing this at all is in 2 weeks, so starting on May 3rd, I will be doing my very first ever free 5-day challenge called Stop Self-Sabotage. So I thought I would come and use this week and next week to kind of build up to that and get a little bit of the background of self-sabotage, the definitions, the whys and all that kind of stuff leading up to it. And then in the 5-day challenge, free 5-day challenge, I'll be diving into how to stop self-sabotage, so how to put an end to it. So let's get started with today. First of all, let's just get a good old definition going. What is self-sabotage? I think probably the simplest one I've come across is simply when our intentions or our goals do not match our behaviors. And we all know this, right? We are all guilty of it, me just as much as everyone. So it's when you know what you should do, but you don't do it, or you know what you shouldn't do, but you keep doing it, right? Or as a lot of times people tell me they feel like they're their own worst enemy. I know I'm my own worst enemy. I keep getting in my own way over and over again. How can I stop, right? So this super commonly leads to a lot of feelings of frustration and even hopelessness. Will I ever be able to get out of my own way and do what I'm intending to do? Yes, you can. Stick with me. But it is a process. So there's a couple of different forms that self-sabotage can take. And this week, I'm going to be talking about procrastination. That's today. And then later on in the week, I'll be talking about perfectionism. So those are the two that we'll cover. So let me give you an example of procrastination. Not that you probably need it. I'm sure we all know what procrastination is. We're all guilty of it. But let's just throw out an example. Let's say you've decided you're going to start exercising more. You make a long-term goal. If I want to exercise more, I want to get healthy, all this kind of stuff. So you buy a treadmill thinking, great, I have a treadmill in the house. It's going to make it super convenient to get more exercise in every day. Every day I'm going to walk on my treadmill. So that is your intention or your goal. So let's say you thought, well, 4 o'clock is a good time to walk on my treadmill. That's a good day or part of my schedule to do that. So 4 o'clock's coming closer and it's 3:58 and you're walking through your kitchen and you see your pantry and you go, oh my gosh, my pantry is a disaster. It's so unorganized. How do I find anything in that pantry? It's a nightmare. I really better start organizing that pantry. Very important I do that right now. That is procrastination. That actually is what I like to refer to as productive procrastination, right? Because you do get something out of it. You're not mindlessly spending hours on YouTube, right? You are actually, at the end of it, you get an organized pantry. Yay, that's great, but that's not what you intended to do. That doesn't replace the exercise. And so even though you have a nice organized pantry, you still don't feel great about it because you know your intention was to exercise. But something happened that made you go, I don't want to do that right now. That's what we're looking at. Why? Why does procrastination take place? Well, usually because there's something about whatever your intention was that starts bringing up feelings of anxiety or distress. And something like, oh, something about that I don't like, let me find a distraction. Okay, that is procrastination. What I want you to kind of get out of this today and try to take home today is right before you have that feeling of distress or anxiety, you probably had some thoughts about, oh, I know I need to get on the treadmill. There was probably some thoughts going on in your head about that. Now, unfortunately, most of our thoughts happen without our conscious awareness of them. We have lots and lots of thoughts all day long, a lot of which are very negative, and a lot of which, or most of which, we're not even paying attention to. We're not even realizing we're thinking them. So what I want you to do is try to have the awareness of, what was I thinking right before I decided my pantry really needed to be organized? What was the thought process going on right before that? Because that's when you decided, I want to do anything but walk on that treadmill, so I'm going to clean my pantry. What were you thinking? It may take a couple of days to be able to catch that thought. Some possible thoughts you could be thinking could be, what's the point of getting on the treadmill? Because I've done this before. I've tried working out before, and I always fail. I'm never going to succeed at this. I start it for a while, and then I give up, and then I feel like a failure. So if those were some of the thoughts you might be having, suddenly cleaning out that pantry, that looks like a nice distraction. That'll keep you away from feeling like I'm just going to fail again. Okay? So that's what I want you to work on this week, next week, building up to the 5-day challenge, is starting to just have the awareness of that. What was I thinking right before I decided to do something else besides what it was I intended to do? So again, we're kind of building this up through the week. Later on in the week, I'll talk about perfectionism. And then next week I'll do some more behind the scenes of self-sabotage, so that come May 3rd, if you're registered, you do have to register for the free 5-day challenge, because there are daily handouts that you will get emailed to you. So they'll all be part of the challenge. Once you register for that, then we will get into how to stop the self-sabotage, because that's nice to understand it, but at the end of the day, how do we put an end to it? How do we stop being our own worst enemy? And that's going to be the goal of the 5-day challenge. So hope that made sense to you. Try to get some awareness as this week goes on about, what are you thinking right before you decide you want to procrastinate or do something else, and see if that helps. Okay? Thanks for joining in today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the questions and the comments, and I will try to answer them. And I will see you back later this week. Bye, everyone.